When I started thinking about digital discrimination, I was most interested in the question of whether the internet would live up to its non-discriminatory potential.
That's what Harvard Business School Associate Professor Ben Edelman thought before he began to investigate possible disparate impacts of digital discrimination in the online rental housing business Airbnb.com.
It seems like a computer network doesn't need to make what you look like particularly prominent.
But the Airbnb rental business requires a photo of each host in order to post their rental space listing. Edelman wondered if the photo was a necessary component.
We don't need to know what you look like, it doesn't matter. If you've rented out your apartment 10 times successfully, you have a 10 out of 10 reputation score, that's 100% perfect, and that's that. We don't need to see your face in order to know that you're great.
After thorough research, Edelman's study revealed disparate impact in his results.
The core of our finding is that it's not easy to be an African American host on Airbnb. Broadly, you're not going to be able to get quite as much for your property. At any given price, if you listed at this price, you'll rent it a little bit less.
How much less? On average, African American hosts on Airbnb net about 10 to 12% less than white hosts.
With a slightly lower price, you might rent it out just as often, but make less money for your efforts. So it's become a bit of a discriminatory environment.
And that is just one example of digital discrimination. According to experts, digital discrimination is direct or indirect online behavior or use of information that results in disparate outcomes that applies with regards to a person's race, gender, or other characteristic that is more or less immutable. Digital discrimination also pertains to conduct that is otherwise unacceptable or unlawful in a physical space, but somehow deemed as acceptable on the internet. Pam Dixon is executive director of the World Privacy Forum. The nonprofit organization began their research and over 7 years uncovered how thousands of scores were being collected and distributed by data brokers.
Thank you for the opportunity to share what I've learned about the data broker industry today. I appreciate it very much.
In addition to business, more sophisticated technology has increased the likelihood of collected information to lead to discrimination, to infer identity, and predict behavior.
All those years ago, the scoring mechanisms were not the same as they were now. What changed is that data about people has become a commodity.
The Scoring of America research study identified several scoring systems, including consumer scores, proxy credit scores, vulnerability scores, a part of predictive analysis.
It's really easy to buy and sell just reams of information about people, and it's surprising how much information can be bought and sold.
The Scoring of America research study shows that scores are collected from monitoring behavior online in many areas, including health.
Even the simplest discussion on Facebook can really lead to that information being attached to you for many, many years, and people just don't realize this. You wouldn't believe the number of people who I talk to who believe that no matter where their health information is, it's protected by law, but it's not the case.
At present, there are no laws prohibiting, accounting for, or protecting people from the use of data acquired online and producing scores that can easily be used for discrimination.
Even the simplest discussion on Facebook can really lead to that information being attached to you for many, many years, and people just don't realize this. You wouldn't believe the number of people who I talk to who believe that no matter where their health information is, it's protected by law, but it's not the case. There are some really big issues here, and we're going to have to look at these laws that we have and find ways of rooting out any kinds of discrimination that have already started to put down roots into this new era that we're finding ourselves in.